What do you think about masculinity and mental health? In 2020, let's see what happens in the world. We're in a lockdown and everybody's affected so much. Not only men, also women, everybody is. But today I have Nick Wilson with me, the king of talk of mental health, especially when it comes to men. So I really wonder, those who are joining us today, where are you joining me from? And I would love to go with this talk international today, just like we do on many other days, because what Nick is just about to tell us is really powerful. And I must say, I'm so excited. Nick, thank you so much for coming onto my show with all your wisdom. And I can't wait to hear all your amazing stuff.
Wow, thank you ever so much. I don't know if I've got that much amazing stuff, but yeah, hopefully I can bring some value to it, and hopefully we can really get it resonating with people out there and making it all very relatable.
Yes, absolutely. And I must say, I really, really loved when we were discussing what exactly we should talk about, and you proposed to speak particular about masculinity and mental health of men in 2020. I think this is such a big topic.
Yeah, and do you know what? It's something that came up in my men's support group. So I run a men's support group in Toaster in Northamptonshire, and we have a word of the week.
Right.
So part of our structure, we have like 4 key questions that get answered every week. And then at the end of the day, we have a word of the week, and I set a word of the week, and the guys then take that away, and then they have a think about it, they reflect on it, they see whether it impacts their week that week, and everyone has their own perceptions of things, don't they? And they identify with things in different ways. Mm-hmm. So it's really interesting. Then the following week, we'll then sit down and we'll discuss the word of the week that was previous. What it means to them and all this kind of stuff. So masculinity was the week before last, and we spoke about it weekend just gone, and it was really interesting because we got a bunch of guys that it's not just a bunch of middle-aged guys having a moan and a bitch, it's not quite like that. But we have what's the youngest guy? So mid-20s.
Okay.
So kind of mid-20s through to early 50s. So we got quite a wide range, generationally. We've got a good selection of people, and it's really great to get the younger guys, and hear what they have to say. And a lot of it does come down to this masculinity. They're very much, the one thing they agree on, they disagree on a lot of things, but the one thing they do agree on is that they don't know who to be in this day and age, and what expectations that society and women have of them.
Wow, this is so profound. I mean, I do see the tendency in nowadays world how both genders are a bit lost because women are stepping up for themselves. They're taking over and they want to. And the thing is, if you have a message within yourself, if you have the desire, the passion, the willingness to go and win and be breadwinner and build a business, that is fine. But what I see how much it affects masculinity, as you said, what expectations now women have from men when they are breadwinners, when they go out and about and they are, becoming famous, they have successful careers. What about men? So this will be a really interesting topic today. I can feel it will be very, very hot, which is exciting because I love that. I love spicy stuff. So today, just by the way, just to let you know, Nick, we have people joining us from Abu Dhabi. We have from Novi Sad in Serbia. Wow.
Serbia.
Yes. Exactly.
Welcome.
How exciting is that? Kenya, India. Wow, this is so good to hear. I love when we go international. And the reason why I love to bring people just like yourself, Nick, to these shows, because I want the word to be spread around the world. Because I think especially today's message is so, so important, because this global movement of women stepping up is big.
Yeah, absolutely. It's huge. And it's great that that we've got all those people from around the world, and welcome to you all. I wish I could say welcome in all the different languages, but I'm just not that good. I used to be able to, but it's really interesting that you've said the different countries as well, because when we talk about mental health, we also talk about culturally, and how difficult and how complicated it can be, especially when you're talking like within the older generation of Muslims, for example.
Yeah.
You don't talk about mental health, and mental health, it's just not spoken about. Mm-hmm. And then where the younger generation of Muslims are more open, shall we say, so they still have their faith, but they're a lot more open to the world, and they're starting to speak out. And but it takes so much more courage to talk about your mental ill health anyway. But I think even more so culturally, because it's just huge, isn't it? And I've heard stories where men and women have been shunned by their entire family because they're talking about mental health.
Yes. Yeah.
That is something I can't get my head around.
And it is scary bit. And that's why the world is still quiet about mental health, because everybody is scared of being rejected by family, by friends, but being judged in their society, in their community. But actually, it is about putting the importance of that, of self-care first. Because again, how can we, doesn't matter man and woman, and yesterday we speak particularly about men, because men in my eyes are still providers. Men are still like those who are taking care of the family and the clan. How men can take care of family, of their children, or of their wives if they don't take care of themselves?
But that's where it becomes interesting though, because men typically, we're talking very generally here, but typically the alpha male, which is what we're talking about, we've still got that alpha dog male, they do put their family first, and they do typically go, I'm going to protect my family because that's my job. I'm going to protect my kids because that's my job. My partner, I'm going to protect her. Now, I know for some women that's going to frustrate them because they want to be strong and independent, and I don't need a man looking after me. I can look after myself. Right to the other stretch, we've got women who want to be looked after. There's no right and wrong in life, there are people's perceptions, that's all. But yeah, we're still very much, we want to protect and we want to look after. So it's never about looking inside and identifying who you are as a man, but who are you as an individual? Yeah. I think that's what it is. It's who are you as an individual? And we had some guys, again, with the group, and they were saying, one guy in particular last week, obviously I can't mention names or anything like that.
Yeah, of course.
He was extremely upset, and he had specific stuff going on,
right,
which I won't talk about. But the one thing that I know I can talk about is the fact that he kind of woke up one morning and was thinking, I've got the family.
Yeah.
I've got a job. I've got kids. But I feel like I haven't achieved anything, and I'm feeling very hollow.
Wow. Wow.
So for me, and it's only my opinion, but I kind of said to him, well, what is your purpose in life? Yeah. What is your identity? Who are you as an individual? He says, don't know, never really thought of it like that before.
Right.
Boom.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Wow. This is quite shocking. And again, and I completely can relate to what you're saying, because I have clients saying to me the same stuff. Olga, I have family, I have a beautiful house, I have a good job, or I have a successful business. I don't feel fulfilled. I don't feel that I have purpose in life, and I'm empty. Wow, this is shocking. So, Nick, what do you think in that case men can do in order to help themselves? Because again, the more complete, the more fulfilled men are, the more they can give to their family. the more beautiful relationship they will have, and the beautiful connection they will have with their partners and children.
Absolutely, absolutely. What can they do? They need to get a grip. That's a bit of tough love, I suppose, but we need to get away from this false sense of what is strong in a man, because actually identifying your vulnerabilities and not being afraid of them and accepting your vulnerabilities will make you a stronger person. So if you're an individual who's, I'm a man's man, and I'm about strength. Okay, well, if you're about strength, then if you identify your vulnerabilities and accept your vulnerabilities, you will become a stronger man for that. So if you are about strength, then let's work through this process.
Love that.
If you don't accept that and that's not your thing, then you're not about strength. You are about pride, stubbornness, wherever you want to be. That's a bit judgmental, and I shouldn't be judgmental, but guys are stubborn. They're set in their ways, typically because generationally there's an impact. As boys, you're brought up, blue is for boys. You play with Lego, Star Wars. This is what you do. No, it's not unicorns, not pink, not that's girls.
Yes.
This is the job that you need to do. This is how you should be. This is how you should act.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that specifically there's anything wrong with that, but you're not giving your kids the diversity. And society, it's not just women that's grown over the past, 5 decades?
Yeah.
Plus. Society's grown as well, and the generations that are coming out now, they're experimenting with things so much more than ever before, and that's where, when you've got your grandfather who's kind of going, well, back in the war, we weren't like that. Yeah. Cheers, Grandad. That's kind of, society's moved on since then, I'm afraid. And things have changed. So I've gone off on one there. What was the question again?
What men can do to make sure that people feel.
So what can they do? They need to identify who they are, and actually really think about what they want out of life, and be selfish for a change. Actually think about you as an individual. What is your purpose in life? 75% of those who are clinically depressed, the reason for them being depressed when they actually chunked down into it was due to a lack of purpose, meaning, and identity.
100%. That's
statistic, I know, but it's also factual. It's backed by science and all the rest of it. And, I'm not a great one for stats at times, but when it's 75%, you got to think there's something to it, if it was 20%, whatever. So I think it's really time that us guys, we actually take time to look in ourselves, and think about our emotional intelligence. Ugh, that's the morphine, emotional intelligence. And I'll tell you why. Now this has only kind of come to me since September last year. So my partner of 2.5 years, we separated because I've got complex post-traumatic stress disorder and depression, and I've also got 7 prolapse discs in my spine, leading to chronic pain in my back and spine. It's like having muscle spasms, but in the entire of your back and spine. And I've also got fibromyalgia. So all of this, it just kind of got too much. And I still love her to bits, and I don't blame her for it at all. At times, love can only go so far, and you've got to be selfish at times, and she had a kid as well. So, kids have got to come first, don't they? But the point I'm trying to make here is that she said something to me that has stuck with me ever since, and she'll probably be gobsmacked at this that I've actually remembered it. But she said to me, I'll change some of the words, but if you can't be bothered to be emotionally invested in yourself, then why should I be emotionally invested in you?
Wow. This is loud. This is big.
Now that really gave me a kick up the arse.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and it was a massive wake up call. And if anything was going to, you know, I'm all about reframing the negative.
Yeah.
And if anything was going to come out of the fact that we've separated and how the relationship has gone since, is the fact that her saying that has totally changed the way that I look at certain things. And I think that it is time for us guys to begin to be emotionally invested in ourselves. Because, you know, think about it. Why should we expect, and it's our expectancy of our partners to love us. Why? Why should they love us? Why should they put up with all the crap? Why should they put up with our moods and all the rest of the negative stuff, which we all have, you know? But why should any partner put up with that? Yeah. But they put up with it because they're emotionally invested in you, because they love you. You know, all their emotions are, they give you their emotions, you know? And you've got to respect that. And if you're not being emotionally invested in you, I think that's almost being disrespectful to your partners giving you their emotions. Have I said that right?
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. And, you know, you said so powerful right in the beginning of answering this question that when you go into vulnerable state, this is when actually you open up and you connect more. And I cannot agree with you, you know, in any different level that yes, 100%. Because right now you're referring to, you need to invest into yourself at emotional level. You have to. Because let's put it this way, myself as a woman, I'll put a hand on my heart and I'll say, when man shares with me his absolute deepest fears, his insecurities, his thoughts and his emotions, and it's not happening, let's say 99% of the time, it just happens here and there whenever it comes out. Even though he's masculine, I still see him as masculine, but I respect him so much more. I connect with him so much more. And I feel that he trusts me. So that creates that chemistry even more. Because now you can see this man who is masculine, who is strong, who is powerful, who is decisive, dropping the barriers and sharing with your vulnerable stuff. It just does something to me, right? So I must say, I'm not the only one. If you ask any other woman, when a masculine man shares with you their insecurities, their fears, how do you feel? They will say the same thing. I feel they trust me. There's no way somebody in the world will share anything so deep, so vulnerable inside of you if you don't trust the other person. So man, share with your woman. You don't have to share with the entire world. You don't have to shout about it from the tallest building in the city, but share with your woman. If you really want to build stronger relationship, this is how you can connect better.
Absolutely. You then connect on a much deeper level, you know, and before I got together with my partner, you know, I always called her my hippie, because she was kind of very much into Buddhism and a yoga trainer and all this kind of stuff. And she really opened my eyes to that side of stuff. Now, bear in mind, you know, 14 years in the army.
Oh, yeah.
Very much a soldier's soldier, you know. You cut me, I bleed green. You know, it was a way of life for me. I always say to people, if you go back 10 years to, you know, Sergeant Wilson in the army, and tell him that in 10 years' time, you'll be doing yoga, you'll be doing guided meditation, you'll be doing breathing techniques, he'd wet himself laughing. He would not believe you, you know. But she introduced me to a much deeper level, and I fully believe that I loved her beyond love.
Wow, that's beautiful.
It got to our souls connected.
Yes, yeah.
you know, and when you get to that point, and I was like, I've never had this before, and I can't even verbalize what it's like, you know. So yeah, I'm absolutely gutted to I find it and then lose it, but I now know, you know, so much more, and it was because I still did things wrong, and I didn't open up. So I'm a bit of a hypocrite in a way, I suppose you can look at it. But I'm saying to you guys that you need to do this. I lost my partner because I didn't.
Yeah.
And so if you love the person that you're with, I'm not saying suddenly go home and throw everything at her, because
of course
he or she will probably be like, whoa,
yeah,
time out. But, you know, share with them, just share with them a bit more and go, do you know what? I was really upset today because da-da-da-da-da. And just be more emotionally invested in you and in your relationship, I guess.
Wonderful. And what that can do, actually, it can help both of you in that case see whether there's something you need to look into, right? If you're stressed, in that case, how both of you can contribute towards reduction of that stress. If you are going into depression, okay, what can you do? Maybe you together can go to a counselor, maybe you can go to doctors, maybe you can go to a coach. There's so many options on the table. And I mean, Nick, right now, like nowadays, we live in a world, everything is as far as your fingertips can reach your keyboard. So there's no way we can't ask for help right now. There's no way. And even if you're a single man, you don't have anybody, why not to speak to your closest friends?
Yeah, absolutely. Or come to a support group called Talk Mental Health. You can come down and see us. But, you know, yes, there is a lot of support, and there are no excuses for asking for help nowadays. But to take that first step and to ask for help and to reach out a hand and go, please, can you help me? That is especially for guys, it's on a whole another level, you know. And this is where the big difference we're talking about, because women, like we say, over the past 5 decades or so, you've been inspired and empowered to grow, to develop, to become stronger, to identify what you want and to chase what you want. You know, you can really reach for the skies now. And whilst guys have slowly started to evolve, I think they're more forced to, because society has grown and changed with women. But it's time now, guys, it's time that we need to change. We need to take a grip of ourselves, and we need to almost start a revolution. Don't start anything negative. But,
no negative, no.
You know, it is time that actually we started to really find a way of getting empowered, and I suppose that's what I'm all about. So my 3 areas: I want to inspire, I want to educate, and I want to empower people through my story and my journey. And you know, that's what I'm about.
I love that. I love that. Let me just share with you a couple of messages, actually, which we have here from people. So because we are across 3 platforms, some of you might not see these comments. So on Facebook, we have lots of people watching us, which is amazing. But Philip Van Hout particularly says, love masculinity. It is so neat these days, in the days of the overprotective, dark feminine. And I must agree with you. You know, Philip, it's so crazy how far things went right now. And I understand partially why. Because again, why women are fighting so much for their rights, so much for their independence. It happens subconsciously out of fear. Because maybe before women were dependent on men and it didn't work out. So now she's afraid to be dependent again. So of course she's going to fight, and she's going to earn, and she's going to go and win, because she doesn't want to be hurt again. I agree with you. It is quite dark and gray area here. So thank you so much for this comment. It's amazing. But we actually also have some comments here on LinkedIn. Prakash says, just leave him, Olga. He's tired of speaking. No, Prakash, Nick is not tired. He's in real pain. Nick, do you want to say what actually happened to you today? Because I'm really sorry you're still on our live, but I'm so grateful you're still with us, even though your internet today. Do you want to share what happened?
What was that message?
Prakash thinks that you are tired of speaking, but you're not. You actually pain.
No, I'm never tired of speaking. People can't shut me up usually. No, honestly, I might look kind of a little bit like that, but so because of the pain that I'm in, I'm always in chronic pain throughout. And I went for my morning stroll to try and get my steps in to reduce the chunk that has come about from COVID. Yeah, I kind of fell over. So, you know, the problem with fibromyalgia is that even the slightest knock can be excruciating. So I was actually trying to be really arty with my camera, with my phone. And there's this riverbed that runs down the field in the water meadows. If anyone in Toaster is watching, you'll know where I mean. And so I was like trying to get down, and you know, I've got arthritis in my knees as well. So me trying to get down anything is like watching, you know, a turtle in pain. It's like really bad. So I was getting down and trying to do that really arty shot, you know, photograph of it just above the water, you know, that type of thing. Mm-hmm. Got the shot anyway, so that's winner. But then when I was getting up, I was using my crutch because I use crutches, and the crutch slipped on the pebbles.
Oh wow!
And bang, that was me, and I kind of fell over, and then I was like a turtle on its back, you know, kind of like this, trying to get up. Yeah. It would have looked comical if anyone was videoing it. It then took me about 40 minutes to do a 15-minute walk back. Yeah, literally before we went live, I was on the bed. It wasn't I, Olga. I was on the bed. And we were struggling a bit with light and the camera, and I thought, stuff it. So I just took some morphine, which is not recommended. Don't do that when you're not supposed to, he says hypocritically. Yeah, I took some morphine just so we can have the right kind of shot. So that, I'm sorry, that is why I might look not my usual lively self.
But Nick, you might not look that live yourself, but what you're saying is right on the spot. And you bring so much value, and you just proved how professional you are and that you're a reliable person, because anybody else probably would say, Olga, I fell over, I had internet, I can't make it. And Nick, I wouldn't be offended and I would understand, but I really admire your strength and your reliability. So thank you so very much. And everybody else, let's just say big thanks to Nick for actually still showing up and being here with us. So that is amazing. Thank you, Nick. Thank you very much. But actually we have here another comment from Barrett on LinkedIn. Men are provider and women are the family creator and nurturers. Both have to be balanced. And what is interesting, Barrett, I agree with you. This was for ages, since cave times, was out there. But nowadays you can see almost like this little swap where more and more men want to be caretakers of the home and they are willing to be with their children, and women want to be breadwinners. Mm-hmm. Quite interesting. What do you think about this, Nick?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, I do see it. I see it more. But if you look at the age range of the guys who are doing it, it's typically around that late 20s, mid 30s kind of age, where they're kind of going, yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll stay at home. You can go out and be the breadwinner. You won't kind of get that from. You froze then, like it was like having a statue staring at me, Olga. Your picture froze.
I'm back.
So yeah, it's but you wouldn't necessarily generally get that from a middle-aged kind of guy unless they've got the right kind of mindset, I think is what I'm trying to say. So it is kind of changing. And I think, yeah, we just need to kind of embrace it. And Barrett, absolutely right. You know, it's all about balance. Life is about balance, you know, and it's about good balance between mental health and physical health. So there's a balance between the two there. There's a balance between life and work, and all the rest of the stuff. Everything should be in balance. That's what life is all about. It's just extremely difficult to find that balance. But you will find that balance a lot easier if, again, you are emotionally invested in yourself and within your partner, and you can be more open with your partner. And like Olga, you said, for a guy to really open up, and this is one of my biggest mistakes that I didn't do, and one of my biggest regrets with my partner, is that I was so much invested in her and looking after her and learning about her. Everything was about her, and that's what I thought she wanted. I thought that was I was doing the right thing as a guy, was to be fully invested in my partner, learning everything about her. And she asked me how my day is, and I'm like, no, but how's your day been? I want it to be about you, but what I didn't realize what I was doing was then I wasn't sharing anything with her about me.
Yes.
So even to this day, she doesn't really know much about my time in the army, about any of my tours, about my past. She knows bits and pieces, the more kind of serious stuff. But, I didn't even show her the Chuffing family album. Everyone's got a family album.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just didn't. I didn't think of it.
Wow. And I can see how that created a barrier, because then what I can automatically see in her subconscious mind, or maybe even in conscious mind, was like, he doesn't want to share things with me. He doesn't trust me. He keeps me away. He doesn't include me in his inner circle.
Yeah.
And automatically what she was probably doing is just withdrawing herself, because this is natural love reciprocation. If you give only 70% of yourself in relationships, you think you withhold only 30, but actually your partner does the same thing. And now you have this massive gap of not sharing, not talking, not opening up, of 60% in between us, which is a massive gap.
Yeah.
Now, this is really interesting, but I'm so grateful you are so vulnerable and raw with us today, because you are such an example of what not to do.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not, but yeah.
Of course it is. Listen, Nick.
I am the prime example of what not to do, ladies and gents.
Yes,
like me.
Because now you know what to do. And that's why now you're able to talk about it. Like, how many of us did mess up in the past, right? If you didn't mess up in the past, I must say, you're not inspirational, right? Because
you're not living.
Exactly. You haven't lived your life. You were living the right life, the perfect life, but there's no such a thing. Right? So I'm really grateful that you're opening up with us so much today, because your share will definitely inspire so many people. And by the way, all the way to Florida, we just have Brandon joining us from Florida. How exciting is that?
Oh, love Florida.
Oh, yes, it's an awesome place. Absolutely. But you know what's interesting, Nick? What do you think? Let's go back to masculinity. Okay. What do you think about masculinity across the world? Don't you think in some areas like Australia, America, Canada, men are more masculine rather in Europe? Is it just my observation, or is it just something what generally happens in the world? Or maybe I just came across men who are more masculine overseas and less masculine over here. What do you think?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think definitely within... Americans tend to again, this is very much a generalization, but there's definitely the perception, at least, of, if you think about Texas, right, you're not going to have a typical Texan bloke opening up with these emotions.
No.
Not going to happen, is it? I'm sure, obviously, Brandon in Florida, I'm sure you wouldn't be watching this, buddy, if you weren't open to it. So obviously there's guys out there, which is brilliant. But yeah, no, I think in the UK, I think we're open up to it more.
Yeah.
I think Eastern Europe is very much another very manly man type thing. Emotions doesn't kind of come into it over in Eastern Europe as much.
All emotional. They're full of emotions.
Totally no emotions in Eastern Europe, apart
No.
from the females.
Yeah.
I think that's why when you get UK soldiers, when we go over to Eastern Europe, I think that's why we get so much attention from the ladies.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, because Eastern European men, they're not like that. They're man. They need to
Yeah,
suck up. They need to be tough and
yeah.
strong. And I can definitely see that. Yeah. Hmm.
And it was definitely the case in Canada. When you go to Canada, there's a massive live firing range in Canada, and we all go over there. And yeah, it's again another typically the soldiers are very popular.
Right. Interesting, very interesting. But actually, Nick, you have a compliment here from Maria. She absolutely loves how beautifully you share stuff. This is on YouTube, by the way. And Maria says a little comment here about your ex-partner. She says, I hope she's watching this interview. And I hope so as well. But she says, this is so honest and unusual in men. So, Nick, this is a compliment to you.
Yeah, I take that. I take that. Thank you. And that's changed. I wouldn't usually be able to take that. So yeah, I accept that now, and I hope that guys see that as well. And that's what I'm aiming for. You know, is I don't know, to be inspirational, to be maybe a kind of role model. And I speak from experience, you know, and I don't want to see guys go through the kind of crap that I've been through. Even though going through tough times, it builds you, it makes you as a person.
Mhm.
So I don't want to protect people from life completely, because that's just boring. You know, you've got to experience life, and you've got to push yourself. You've got to put yourself into what is known as reach. So you have your comfort zone, and then you put yourself into reach. You know this, Olga. And as long as you don't get to the danger zone, then, you know, within reach, put yourself into reach in various topics, areas, and bits and pieces. You'll be amazed what you'll learn about yourself. Yeah, it's time, guys. It's time that we get a grip of ourselves here, because with statistics such as 75% of all suicides being men, 96 men a week now die from suicide. There's more young lads who are attempting suicide. There are more young lads who are having eating disorder problems. There are more young lads who are completing suicide. You know, all the statistics, all the nasty statistics for self-harm, suicide, eating disorders, attempted suicide, they're all increasing in our young teenage males, lads. And that is not right. That has to change.
No. And it can change only if they have a role model who is opening up, who is showing up with their emotions, and who is transparent. Again, let's go back to, you don't have to be all crying baby, little pussycat who is now all, gentle and fragile all the time, right? That would be wrong. Again, be you, be real you. But when something hits you and you come back home and you share it with the family and you open up and your children see that, you don't have to keep them out of the room, but you can share with them as well. Today, daddy is a bit worried. Today, daddy is a bit upset.
Yeah. Who's that famous exerciser? Joe someone. Joe West, is it?
Don't know.
He's been on. He was on BBC News this morning, and he was doing a for the past 82 days or something. He's been doing fitness things every morning for the past.
Right.
Joe. Anyway, he was making a point this morning that if guys got up and just took part or did something, that we are role models. So the kids will then start getting involved and they will start doing some exercise. And it's exactly the same thing, you know. If your kids see you crying, don't hide it. And the kids go, "Oh, Daddy, what's wrong?" "Oh, I'm just a little bit upset, son, because, you know, this happened at work and so it's upset me a little bit. And so I'm just working through and, you know, da-da-da-da." And they'll pick up on that and they'll learn that it's not a bad thing to cry, you know, and it's not a bad thing to have emotions, and it's not a bad thing to have vulnerabilities. And actually, I've got this saying of actually to embrace your mistakes, your failures, your faults. If you embrace them all, learn from them, you can then reframe them, and they then become your strengths, and they're no longer weaknesses. So you can manage this, you can flip it on its head, but it becomes, I get so emotional. It begins with you. It begins with us as individuals. You know, it's the same as mental health in the workplace and all the rest of it. It's not to do with the employers. They're there to offer possible support if we're needed, but it's on you. The same for women, the same as guys. It's on us as individuals to better manage our own mental well-being. And we've got to stop passing the buck. You know, you've got to take a look at yourself in the mirror and go, do you want to live life? Yes or no? Yes, you want to live life. Well, bloody live life then, and start having a good balance of physical health, mental health, understand, learn, educate yourself, and then live it.
Yes. I know. I can see your passion. Even through the pain, you're so passionate. But this is amazing. And we need people like you talking absolutely global and worldwide about this, because people need to hear this message. Men and women, both genders, but particular men need to hear this message. Step up for yourself, bring up your emotions and be real. Because if you're trying to be perfect and you wanting to look after your family, that's a good thing. Because in terms of masculinity and femininity, it's natural for a man to look after his woman. This is what is his nature. And that's why so many men in relationship give up. Because women, they are bitching, they're testing them, they're pushing them. But why woman does that? Because woman is testing whether this man, he's the best man. She wants strong man, and she wants man to push back at some point and to show, no, lady, you cross the line here, right? I'm masculine and I have my grounds here. So if women will not push men very often wouldn't even push themselves, right? Because often we have men saying, yes, I'm successful, but actually it was my wife who was besides me, pushing me and motivating me.
Yeah.
Simple as that. But if you don't open up with your woman, how she can help you, how she can support you, how she can be your rock. And again, it's not about coming back home and giving, the throw up.
Regurgitating everything at them. And I don't want people to take that away from this. Gosh, please don't go back. Bloody, I'll be getting messages from partners left, right and centre. What have you done? Why do you tell them to do that? Bloody hell. And like you said, we're not saying to be weak, I'm still very much, when I'm in a relationship, I'll protect my partner. I would throw myself on that grenade for my partner, the person that I love. I would do anything for my partner. What I've had to learn, though, is at the same time, I also need to open up more emotionally and to give more emotionally. And being strong doesn't equate, I think that's the right word, it doesn't equate to making it all about the partner. You can make it all about the partner, but you also need to give them something, because as you said at the beginning, it does earn trust. If you open up your family book and show all the really embarrassing bloody photographs of you as a growing teenager, which you don't want anyone to see in the world, right? But if you show that to the one that you love and who you think is going to be the one, then that really demonstrates something to the woman, and is that trust. It's that reciprocal trust. you've opened up to me and you've really shown me inside. That does mean a lot on both ways, you know. And how many times do men go to women, why don't you talk to me? Tell me what's wrong. Tell me this. Tell me that. Tell me the other. Oh,
Yeah.
smart ass. Well, why don't you do the same then? Why don't you tell the woman this, that, and the other? You know. And on LinkedIn the other day, comment. I haven't gone back to him yet because I don't want to get into an argument on bloody social media because it does my nut in. But he accused me of, what was it? Man bashing or something like that, because I was because of masculinity and where men are. I put a post out like 2-3 days ago. So you can have a look on my posts and you'll see it and you'll see what the guy said. Yeah, basically accused me of man bashing or something like that. And I think what he was getting at was that he felt that I was putting men down, you know, and I was blaming men for everything. And that's not what we're about. Olga said, you said yourself, Olga, during this, that women, you need to do the right thing as well. There's got to be this balance.
Yes.
But there hasn't been a balance.
No.
Because men haven't been giving.
Yes. Yeah. And it's understandable why they haven't been given, because men came, let's go back to the wartime. They came back from war. They were in pain. Now they came back not being even body able. Now they're disabled. And now they still have to somehow look strong for their woman to whom they came back. So their children who were growing up during the war times, now they see a woman going back to work, to factories and providing for family because their dad is not body able, right? And because he wants to still stay strong, he doesn't show his emotions. So now the children learn, okay, that means man is not showing emotions. Next generation here, what they show to the next generation? Not showing emotions, simply because they learned that. And what we see now, and actually this is what I'm studying right now, I'm really fascinated by this new thing which is happening nowadays, because we have so many more strong women nowadays in the world. When they start dating, men are getting scared of these strong women, because internally a man feels, what can I give? What can I provide? She's earning, she's providing, she is strong enough. How can I protect her? But bingo, man, connect with her. If you just connect with that strong woman who is winning those whatever fight she has, who is, you know, going through the competition and things like that, and she comes back home and you just connect with her and you hear her soul and you connect with her at the deepest level because you have this trust, she's not going to need anything else. That's the truth.
Yeah, and you see, you know, you see these really attractive women, or I don't know if this is going to be right, or we're just going to get messages telling me off. But you see attractive women with some not your stereotypical macho male.
Yeah.
Let's say, I think that's a PC way I can put it. And you go, huh? How does that work then?
Yeah.
And it's because the guy is actually that, you know, the guy is, like you say, is because of the emotions, because he's clever, because he's opening up, because he's supportive, because of these other kind of stuff. And that's why, you know, it isn't all about the muscles and stuff anymore. But I do get why it's really difficult. You know, I'm now single. I'm 43. I'm disabled. You know, I typically I end up on the laid on the bed by about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm on all these drugs. You know, there's so many side effects, and I'm like, you know, how the hell am I going to find anyone? You know, so I do get it, and it's still something that I'm scared. I'm scared of not being able to find the right kind of person, because whether we want to admit it or not, initially when you're first dating, a lot of it is on looks, because there has to be that attraction, you know, and you don't get the opportunity much nowadays to actually get that interaction going, to build up the rapport, so that then overtakes looks.
Yeah.
So it's not all about looks, it's because the rapport and because the connection, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you don't get the opportunity to miss that horrible, chuffing, judgmental bit at the beginning. So I get it, and it is scary. But what are you going to do? Again, you look in the mirror, what are you going to do? Are you going to choose life, or are you just going to bob along and just exist? I don't want to exist. I want to live.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is so true. And if you look at Nick Boyka, who was born without any limbs. He was born with no arms, no legs. He was born that way. He is married and he has, I think, 2, maybe 3 children by now. But it just shows that disability, it is not something what limits people to get together, but is that connection whether you have it or not. Because you could be the most healthiest man on earth. And the reason why I know it, because I work with couples like that. Yeah? You have healthiest men on earth, rugby players, big masculine, big muscles. Women leave them. Why do they leave them? Because there's no connection.
Mm.
There's not trust. Not trust in terms of he's going to cheat on me. Not trust in terms of emotional trust. So it doesn't really matter what happens with your body. It's about that inner connection. Because yes, you're right. The attraction starts with physical appearance. Of course, you look at the person, you think it's either yes or no. Or it may be, right? But when it is a maybe, it's likely to no, right?
That's quite right.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's right. Yes. But it's not only that. It's not only that. So I love this topic. But by the way, Maria, and by the way, every man who's watching us right now, if you think this is just my and Nick's opinion, okay, mine as a feminine opinion and Nick's as a masculine opinion, we have also Maria, who is just right now watching us on YouTube. And this is what she says. I knew many men that see opening fragility as a sign of weakness. And in fact, it is much more courage. Duh! There we go. Duh! That's a message for somebody who's watching us right now. Oh, wow, this is so powerful. So basically, just to wrap it up the entire session, which was amazing. Honestly, time full of like 1 minute with you, Nick. It's amazing. Man, please look after yourself. Step up and step out of your comfort zone and step up into being more connected with your partners, with your families, because you'll be sharing more, because you'll be connecting more with them, and you will build better trust and a better relationship with them. And as a result, we're going to reduce the suicide rate in the world. We're going to reduce the amount of people, men who are depressed, and how wonderful it will be.
Globally, 1 man dies every 45 seconds. Get your head around that.
So roughly, we had about 60 people dead by now.
Yeah.
There we go. Man, you can change it.
You need to, I know you need to wrap up, but you do need to, and just to back up what Olga was saying there, it isn't just mine and Olga's opinion. It is also, I run a men's support group, so this is also coming from them. And we've got 24 odd members now, so it's not just a handful of guys. It's a big group, and it's also from other men's support groups that I am communicating with up and down the country. So something like 50 plus support groups up and down the country, and all the people who are leading those groups are all saying the same thing. All of their members are all saying the same thing. So this is actually coming from thousands of guys up and down the country. So it isn't just about my opinion and Olga's opinion. This is coming from other guys of all ages, all backgrounds, all ethnicities. Culturally, it's a massive diverse group that who are coming to these men's support groups now. And I would recommend that you find a men's support group near you and just pop along, get in touch with them, go and visit them. If you live in Northamptonshire, come and see us. We're trying to get one started in Milton Keynes, Northampton, and Brackley. No, not Brackley, Daventry, somewhere else. But anyway, get in touch with your local support group. Look for them. Usually they're on Facebook.
Wow, this is powerful. But also, Nick, I know that you have a group where people can volunteer to get the volunteering experience and also help. Is it right?
What's that? The veteran support group?
Yes,
in
yes. You want
support.
to tell us more?
Well, yeah. So the Veterans in Support is actually a project whereby we provide emotional wellbeing support to key workers around the country who are being impacted by COVID, and the key unique selling point for our group amongst all the other support groups are out there is that our volunteers are specifically from the veteran community. So if you're a veteran or the partner of a veteran, we love to have the partners involved as well, then please do get in touch, because we're looking for volunteers. We're in touch with 3 or 4 hospitals now, and it's not just helping the NHS nurses, it's social care, it's prison officers, it's bin men, you know, retail staff, these kind of people that haven't really been spoken about in the news. It's pretty much been about NHS and social care. None of the other key workers or volunteers have been mentioned much. They all need support, so please do get in touch. So yeah, we've also got that as well. Thank you.
Oh, that's wonderful. What I will do, I will share links to this veteran support group below the video. And they already are in the body of YouTube and also Facebook and LinkedIn. But I'll make sure I'll share them below the video so people can reach out to you and help and support this group. I think it's amazing what you do, Nick. Honestly, your message is so powerful. It's so transformational and it's so inspirational. And what you do is beyond imagination. So thank you so very much. I can see how you are really transforming the world. And because today we went actually international, you're definitely in many countries.
Awesome. Just the Facebook page has changed its name a little bit, so it's Talk Mental Health.
Okay.
So just look for Talk Mental Health or Minds Matter 69. That's the support group on Facebook, and LinkedIn, Talk Mental Health. So just search us out and we're on there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And yes, as I said earlier, I will definitely make sure I'll post the links below so people can reach out quickly. Well, thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, Olga.
Oh, it was a pleasure, Nick, to have you today, and everybody who was watching us today, who was participating with your beautiful, wonderful comments and your suggestions, and also sharing locations. This means a lot to us.
Yeah.
Considering how powerful messages from Nick's side, I'm so happy Nick's message was heard today internationally. So thank you so much, everybody who joined us. And Nick, a very special, heartfelt thank you so much to you for joining us despite the pain. So thank you so very much.
Pleasure. Thanks ever so much, Olga, for having me.